بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alhamdulillah, we have tawfiq to continue our study of family and Mahdawi Tarbiyah. In the last night, we talked about significance of family in Islam. We tried to discuss this in the light of a general outlook to creation, and then we focused on human life and the role that family has played throughout the history of mankind. Is the oldest and widest human institution. And then we said this also is the most enduring institution. It's continuing up to heaven, inshallah. Inshallah, we want to continue this discussion by addressing the issue of family based on the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and some of the challenges, and then we focus more on the time of Akhir al-Zaman, end of time, before the reappearance of Imam Mahdi, Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu sharif. So, the very last thing I mentioned in the last session was about the great harm which is caused not only to the individuals which are involved or to the families which are involved, but to the whole creation, starting with community, then humanity, and the whole creation, when a family is broken. For example, in some of our hadiths, a very powerful expression is used, and that is the arsh, the divine throne, being shaken when a family is breaking down. For example, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam is quoted as saying, تزوجوا ولا تطلقوا. Do marry and do not divorce. فإن الطلاق يهتز منه العرش. اهتزاز means to move, to shaken something. Divorce is something that causes disturbance even in Arsh, because marriage is very sacred. Marriage is the most loved construction that we can ever build. If this is damaged, is harmed, is ruined, it has very negative impact. Even Arsh of Allah, which stands for His knowledge, for His power, will be showing some reaction. It is true that in Islam we have some arrangements, some legal solution when there is no other way. So divorce is not completely prohibited. because there can be cases that genuinely there is need for divorce. But even then, it's not free from harm. Even a legitimate case for divorce has long-term impact on the individuals who are separating, children, if there are children, and their future generations, families of both sides, community. There are lots of ways that they will be all harmed. If this is genuine case for divorce, if na'udhu billah, divorce becomes more frequent, more common as we have started witnessing, then it's even worse. We have to be very careful. In Islam, divorce is not an option. Divorce is just an emergency exit from a life which is really miserable. It's not possible to tolerate. It may lead to harming one's faith, one's even physical, health seriously, to the extent that one's life might be in danger, for example, or one's mental health is really in danger. So there can be some cases, but it's not an option. It's just a kind of last resort for emergency cases. So Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, فَإِنَّ الطَّلَاقَ يَهْتَزُّ مِنْهُ الْعَرْشِ. Because truly, from divorce, divine throne will be shaken. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam also is quoted as saying, مَا مِنْ شَيْءٍ أَبْغَضُ إِلَى اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ مِنْ بَيْتٍ يخرب أو يخرب في الإسلام بالفرقة يعني الطلاق. According to this hadith, which is in Al-Kafi by the late Sheikh Kulaini, and also Sheikh Al-Ra'amil in Basail al-Shia has quoted, Rasulullah said, there is nothing more disliked by Allah the Almighty than a house in Islam which is ruined, which is destroyed by separation. So this house is destroyed by separation. Then says, يعني الطلاق means divorce. Separation means. So a family is a household, and divorce is breaking down of this. We must make sure that as much as possible, we take all the necessary measures before marrying, after marrying, to prevent divorce. There are lots of things to mention about significance of family, and I only mention few more hadiths, because this is just beginning of our discussion, just as a reminder, as a kind of emphasis on the significance of family in general, especially in Akhir al-Zaman. This is very important blessing that we have to face challenges of Akhir al-Zaman successfully, inshallah. There is a hadith that you find it in Mustadrak Wasail al-Shia by Haji Nuri, the teacher of Sheikh Abbas Qutni. He quotes this hadith from Rasulullah, that Rasulullah says, أوحى or أوحي إلى موسى Allah revealed or was revealed to Musa, which means by Allah. So either we say awha or uhiya. Inni a'taytu fulanan khayra dunya wal akhirah. Allah said to Musa, I gave someone so and so khair, goodness of dunya and akhirah. Imagine what is that? وَهِيَ امْرَأَةٌ صَالِحَةٌ. And that is a righteous wife. If you have a good wife, if you have a good husband, that is khair for dunya and akhirah. It is such a blessing. Do you think then Shaitan would leave you free to enjoy this? No. Shaitan will try everything possible to make this khair for you something that can be bitter. Something that either you are not grateful to that, or the other party, Shaitan tries to change the opinion of the party, or both of you will be deceived by Shaitan. Shaitan would not stop working against every two people who have good relations, especially husband and wife, parents and children, teachers and students, because these relations are very important. Shaitan will work hard. We have to be careful. Also, we have this hadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which we have it in Al-Kafi and also Wasa'il al-Shia. قال الله عز وجل إذا أردت أن أجمع للمسلم خير الدنيا والآخرة. If I want to put together goodness of dunya and akhirah for a Muslim, if I want to give him everything that if you have, then other things also will come. Yeah? So don't wait for a very comprehensive, 100, for example, of items. Some of the most fundamental things that bring goodness of dunya and akhirah. Allah said, according to this prophetic hadith, إذا قال الله عز وجل إذا أردت أن أجمع للمسلم خير الدنيا والآخرة جعلت له قلبا خاشعا ولسانا ذاكرا وجسدا على البلاء صابرا وزوجة مؤمنة تسره إذا نظر إليها. I would give this person, if I want to give him all the goodness of dunya and akhirah, qalban khashan, a humble heart. It's amazing. It's one of the fundamental blessings. وَاللِّسَانًا ذَاكِرًا, a tongue which is engaged with remembrance of Allah, not with sinful words or useless words. And a body that would be patient with suffering, patience and forbearance are very important. And finally, a believing wife that whenever he looks at her would become happy. Qalb khashe is such a fundamental thing. Lisan dhakir, sabr, but also a good wife. And for women, good husband is one of the best things that Allah would give. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam also said, ثلاثة للمؤمن فيها راحة. There are three things in which mu'min finds comfort, peace, rest. Not rest of body, only rest of the entire existence. One of those three is وَامْرَأَةٌ صَالِحَةٌ تُعِينُهُ عَلَىٰ أَمْرِ الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. a righteous wife that would help him with worldly affairs and the affairs of the hereafter. So for religious issues, for worldly issues, would help. Again, this is mutual. For woman is also the same. So no matter how much we emphasize, I don't exaggerate, no matter how much we emphasize on significance of family and good relation between husband and wife, we are not able to do justice. It's very, very important. Can you explain enough something which is the most sacred construction, which is the most loved thing by Allah? You cannot explain that enough. Quran says, وَاللَّهُ جَعَلَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا وَجَعَلَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَزْوَاجِكُمْ بَنِينَ وَحَفَدَةً وَرَزَقَكُم مِّنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ أَفَبِالْبَاطِلِ يُؤْمِنُونَ وَبِنِعْمَةِ اللَّهِ هُمْ يَكْفُرُونَ. Surah Nahl. So this is one of the verses that Allah mentions that He has created for human beings their spouse for sukoon, for comfort, for rest. Like خلق لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا لتسكنوا إليها وجعل بينكم مودة ورحمة. This sukoon is very important, and in Akhir al-Zaman we very much need this sukoon because there's so much stress, so much of distractions, uncertainties, worries. We need sukoon in family, and this sukoon comes first from the relation between husband and wife. There are many benefits of family life. I pass for, inshallah, another detailed discussion about family. And I mentioned two more hadiths from the Prophet. One is ما بني في الإسلام بناء أحب إلى الله عز وجل وأعز من التزويج. Nothing is built in Islam, no construction. Bina means construction. No construction has been built in Islam which is more loved by Allah and dearer to Allah than tazwij, than marriage. Rasulullah also said, يفتح أبواب السماء بالرحمة في 4 مواضع. The gates of sky will be open in 4 times. عند نزول المطر, when rain is coming, it's also a spiritual time. It's not just physical, coming of rain. وعند النظر الولد في وجه الوالدين, when a child looks at the face of parents with love, with respect, gates of rahmah open, gates of sky open. وعند فتح باب الكعبة, when the door of Kaaba is opened. وعند النكاح, when marriage is taking place, it's a blessed time. Therefore, we many times, make dua after recitation of marriage formula. Some of the companions of the Prophet, when they came to know about Prophet's spiritual life, and they also became very interested in spirituality, they decided not to marry. They decided not to eat, for example, or drink, fast every day, and made a kind of ascetic life, but to the extreme. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he heard about this, he made a sermon, and after praising Allah, he said, Man ahabba, sorry, he said, Antumul ladina qultum kada wa kada. You are the people who said this and this. Like, for example, we don't want to marry, we don't want to eat, drink, etc. Ama wallahi inni la akhshakum lillah wa atqakum lillah. But I fear Allah more than you. I observe Allah's will more than you. But still, لكني أصوم وأفطر. Sometimes I fast, sometimes I eat. It's not that every day I fast. وأصلي وأرقد. I do Salatul Layl, but I also sometimes sleep. وأتزوج النساء. Also I marry. فمن رغب عن سنتي فليس مني. Whoever doesn't marry as a kind of rejection of the sunnah. Sometimes someone doesn't marry because it does not happen. It has not happened. There was no good case. For some reason, it has not happened. Or maybe there are people that for them, maybe they see, they cannot marry. But they should still respect marriage. They should promote marriage. They should ask others to marry. This is okay. But if someone takes a position against marriage, he says, I don't want to marry, no one should marry, this is rejecting the sunnah of the Prophet. This is turning away from the sunnah of the Prophet. And he says, if you turn away from my sunnah, whether it is by not eating and always, for example, fasting, always, doing ibadah, doing nothing about, your worldly responsibilities, not marrying, etc., Rasul says, this is a person who is not from me. Also in another place he said, Man ahabba an yakuna ala fitrati falyatasanna bisunnati fa inna min sunnati an nikah. Rasulullah said, whoever wants to be on my fitrah, means on my style, which is based on human nature also. Rasulullah's conduct was based on and compatible with human fitrah. If you want to be like on this, you should follow my sunnah. And from my sunnah, some of my sunnah is marriage and nikah. And also there is a beautiful hadith that Rasulullah said, Man ahabba an yalqa Allah tahiran mutahharan falyalqahu bizawjah. If someone wants to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala while he is pure and purified, should try to meet Allah, should meet Allah with zawjah, with a spouse, with a wife. And we have great emphasis on the significance of even small actions of married people. Of course, they should try to do more. They shouldn't, now they will take advantage and say, okay, we don't need to do lots of ibadah. No, they should try to do more. But relatively, little a married person does is better than someone who doesn't want to marry and does lots of ibadah. For example, Rasulullah said, المتزوج النائم أفضل عند الله من الصائم القائم العزب. A person who is married and is sleeping is better in the sight of Allah than someone who is not marrying and is fasting during the day and doing Salatul Layl during the night. Qiyam in the layl, standing up for ibadah in the night and fasting during the day. So, we should marry and encourage people to marry. We should help people to marry. We should help people to remain in marriage. We should support people to marry. We should support people who are already married. Anything that we can do to make family life a very essential part of Muslim life, is needed and is necessary. Now, what about Akhir zaman? We have very important discussions here about the things that we need to do in Akhir zaman and some of the dangers which are introduced to us. We are already informed so that we can be prepared to protect ourselves. Please remember this important point. Whatever you read in authentic hadith about Akhir zaman, if it is a good thing, it's a kind of bishara. For example, we have something about very good mu'mineen in Akhir zaman. This means that we should try to be one of them. Not just wait to see. And whenever you read also in authentic hadith about Akhir zaman something which is negative, a crime, a corruption, a mischief, sinful things, when you read these, again, doesn't mean just, okay, it is going to happen, whether you like it or not, whether you do anything or not, it's going to happen. Just, we are informing you in advance so that you are not shocked. No, it's more than that. It means that you can protect yourself. You can protect your family and community because those problems are not necessary to happen to everyone. That's the current. But there can be many people who save themselves from that. So anything good, try to qualify yourself for that. Prepare for that. Anything bad, try to protect yourself and prevent that. It's very important. So inshallah, we will talk about the challenges for family life in Akhir zaman and its significance, so that then we are ready to discuss about Tarbiyah that we need to have in this time, especially in the light of intidhar, actively waiting for Imam Mahdi Ajalallah Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. I would like to end with this beautiful story about Socrates. It is said that some people asked Socrates before he was, taken to the court, that what is your greatest dream or wish? He said, my greatest wish or dream is to go to the highest place in Athens, in Greece, and tell people loudly why you are so eager and so, much concerned about making money, while you neglect spending time on tarbiyah, on upbringing of your children, that they are going to receive all this money from you. You are working hard to make lots of money which will be inherited by your children, and you are not careful about those people who are going to receive this money. So it seems that even Socrates in that time, ancient time, was very mindful of the significance of, proper upbringing for children, and was, not happy with the people of his, time or his city. In any case, inshallah, next session, we will talk about family in Akhir zaman. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect our sacred institutions, and in particular family, to bless everyone who has encouraged, who has promoted, who has established this beautiful culture that we all have received, which makes family central in Muslim way of life. May Allah bless everyone, every scholar, every person, every teacher, who has contributed to receiving this legacy. And may inshallah Allah help us to also play our role so that this can inshallah be passed to the next generation. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.